I'm so excited to be here today with you guys. And as I was preparing for today, I'm talking about volunteerism. And at first I thought, okay, what am I really going to talk about today? And the more I thought about it, and more, the more passionate and excited I got. And I realized how much I love volunteering and how important it is to the church, to the body, and to me. And so when my family and I moved up to Bend, it was about 8 years ago, we were super involved in our church back home, and my husband and I decided when we got to Bend, we were not going to get involved. We both made that agreement that we were going to come to Bend, and we were not going to get involved at all. We were going to focus on our family. We were going to spend time together, and there was just no way that we were going to dive into a church and start volunteering. And that lasted probably a few Sundays after we found the church that was our church home, which was Antioch. And so we went a couple times, and then I ended up going up to Tamara, Ken's wife, one Sunday, and I asked her, hey, do you have anyone doing kids worship? And she said, no. And I said, can I do that? And she said yes. And so it was at the Children's Museum at that time in Old Mill, and got to go in and hang out with the kids and do children's worship. And so that's how it all started. It all went uphill from there. I don't want to say downhill because I think volunteering is uphill. And so it all went uphill from there, and our family got really involved from that point on. And so we've been a part of the Antioch family for quite some time and have experienced different areas of volunteering in the church. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about that and how volunteering has even changed the dynamic of our whole family. So I've been married 16 years. I have 2 boys, 14 and 10. And as a family, we serve together. And that's something that has just changed us as a family. And so one of the verses that we talk about a lot in our family is Ephesians 2:10. For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the things He planned for us long ago. And so we believe in living that out. And for our kids, we talk about service, and we talk about how we need to give our life away and love others. And but for Joe and I, we really believe that we have to show that as well instead of just telling our kids to do those things. And so it's just really created something different for us, especially here. So we came here with the intention of not getting involved at all because we wanted to focus on our family, and volunteering has helped us focus on our family. And so one thing that's really important to know about volunteering is that it's not a responsibility to do what you are supposed to do. It's not an obligation. It's an opportunity to live out what we have been called and gifted to do. So it's not an obligation, it's an opportunity. And so it's an opportunity for many reasons. 1, doing it together. 2, changing the way that you get to see how different things work being a part of it, and also the relationships that are built with that. Some of our greatest relationships have come from volunteering alongside people. And so if you've been volunteering or serving with others, I'm sure that you've experienced that as well. So all that sounds good, but how's that possible, right? You have a family, you have a job, you have a life. So where does volunteering even fit in with all of these many responsibilities that you have going on? Where are you supposed to fit that in? So the way that we look at volunteering in our family is that volunteering is not something that is added to our list of things to do. It becomes a part of who we are and what we do. So it's not a matter of, oh, I have to go and volunteer today. It's just a part of our life. It's not even a thought. And I think that as a church family, if we think of it that way, it really changes the way that you feel about volunteering. It's not a matter of like you're going to work. It's that you get to do that. You get to go and live out your passion, that you get to use your gifts, and that you get to enjoy those relationships. So great volunteer teams consist of passionate people who have a focused vision, believe in their mission, and empower each other with their initiative and skill development. So empowerment is a huge part of it. Owning that role, owning the opportunity that you get with that is a big part of it, because if you're just showing up to volunteer and you feel like there's really no purpose in your role, or if it's something that you're not excited about, then it's not going to be something that you continue to do. and it's not going to be something that you want to continue to do. And then so sometimes when we're doing something out of obligation or that we feel like we're not gifted in doing, then we start to become bitter, or we feel like it's a chore instead of a joy. And so how do we get volunteerism to be a joy? There are a lot of ways. So some things that we have to do, though, to help you alongside of that as a church is lay out clear expectations. So that's something that we're going to do. Do not have any, oh, by the way, and I forgot to tell you. Because sometimes that happens when you're volunteering. It's a matter of, all right, so I need you there, just volunteering in general. But I need you there, this. And then you say, oh, no, actually, I need you there at an hour before I told you, right? Then those types of things can get really frustrating. Or I forgot to tell you, you need to get fingerprinted. And that's going to cost you $150, right? So then all of a sudden it's like, wow, why did I even sign up to do this? Constant communication back and forth. So that's really important for the volunteers to communicate with the people that they're reporting to, and then also for the leaders to communicate with the volunteers. If there's not that communication, then there's just frustration. Training is something that we are going to work on, and that we are going to build ownership in the area that you are volunteering in. So if you go in and say you are working in the parking lot and you own that. It's getting real in the parking lot, right? So say you own that and you are responsible for that. Steve, thank you for being here. We're thankful that you do that. And so Steve owns that job, right? And the people that help him out, John and other guys, they own that responsibility. So whenever you have that, when something isn't done right, then you kind of feel that way inside. I don't know if you're that way. Maybe I just am, but I'm just like, I don't understand what just happened here. Why didn't that? You have that ownership, that pride. That's good. It's good to have that, not just in your job, not just in other things that you do, in the role that you're volunteering in. That's really helpful. Relationship building with the other people that you're working with. That is huge. So getting to know those people outside of a Sunday morning or another time that you're volunteering, that way you can continue to grow those relationships. One thing that Mike brought up was it would be great for him to know the people that he works and geared with. That way, if he's not able to be there one Sunday, then he can get in contact with them. Or just in other areas, if our goal is for you to get to know those people in those areas, that way you're just completely comfortable talking to them. Or if you need extra help, then you can just call them and say, hey, I need extra help today. So where do we find volunteers? They're there. You're all there, right? So volunteers are there and ready, but we have to make sure that you know your gifts, that you know your place and how you're able to help. So we all have gifting. No one can say, I'm just not good at anything. God has gifted us. So we are all wonderfully and fearfully made, and so we can use the gifts that he's given us to serve. That's what we get to do. It's a pleasure. It's a joy. So we need to show the volunteers that we are organized and ready to place our volunteers in the area that best fits their passions and their gifts. And we spend a lot of time, a way to find that is we spend a lot of time getting to know each other intentionally. So as we're building those relationships, not necessarily someone that you're volunteering with, but say you're just going to lunch with someone and you're spending time with them, and as you're talking, their passions start to come out, and all of a sudden you see something in them that you've never seen, and then you go, wow, I had no idea that you love to work video cameras. Have you thought about working with Kip? Or wow, I never knew you could sing. Why aren't you in the choir? So if we really intentionally get to know each other on a deeper level, then we get to see those things in each other, and we get to point those out, and then we get to use our gifts. So it's not just a matter of church leadership finding those talents and those gifts in our church family. It's something that we get to do within each other. We get to pour into each other. We get to encourage each other to use those things. And that's how God has created us to be, and we get to use that to pour that back into the body. So we found the volunteers. What do we do next? So there are a couple things that we have. One thing is place is something that we have here at Antioch that we are revamping. There are some really great things in here, tons of great things, and we've been having a good time going through it. And so that's something that we're going to bring back and go through with our church family. And there's Strengths Finder which is also a part of Place. And so there are just some really cool tools that we're going to be utilizing to help people see their gifts, because sometimes we know that we have them, but we don't know what they are. So we are going to use those tools, and we will work with volunteers to help them discover what their gifts are and their strengths are. The training and relationship continues from there. It's not just a matter of being done from that point. We want to support and love on our volunteers. We know that even though it's a part of your life, that it is still time that you're giving. And so we want to make sure that you know your value and that we appreciate you maybe giving up breakfast with your family to be there early on a Sunday morning to help us set up. So we value that. We know that a lot comes from that there are sacrifices that are made whenever you're volunteering. But trust me, the joy that comes from it is so worth it. And so the training and relationship will continue on. We want you to know, we want to know what's going on in your life. We want to get to know you. So that's something else that we're going to continue to grow in. And we want to support and love on you, because sometimes there are times when someone doesn't show up, and it's not just a matter that someone is flaky. It might be that there's something really going on in their life, and it's good for us to be aware of that and us to pour into your life and hear you and understand what's going on, instead of just feeling like, well, they didn't show up again. There's a reason of what's going on. So it won't be a matter of, okay, I'm just going to cross them off the list because they're probably not going to be here next time. No, it's going to be a phone call that says, hey, are you okay? Can we get together and have coffee or meet and just see what's going on in your life? I want to hear what's going on in your life. So we have people who are gifted in this area that loves to pour into people and loves to encourage people that are going to be joining us and in doing that. So this isn't just something that I'm saying today. It's a team that will be coming together and will be led by someone who this is their gift and something that they are going to be excellent in doing. And another thing that is really important is getting the feedback of the volunteers. So say it is within a Sunday morning of working with Antioch kids, and there's something that you see consistently that's going on with the kids. Maybe it's the end of service, and all of a sudden that last 10 minutes, it's just chaos because you don't know what to do and the lesson is already done and you're not sure. We need to hear that feedback. That way we can make sure that we are doing the things that we need to do. Maybe create something to do that last 10 minutes, or also the ideas that you have. Again, this is an area that you're gifted and passionate in. You're going to have ideas. We want to hear those ideas. We won't always get to use those ideas, but we do want to hear them, and we want to know what you're thinking. That way, again, you have that ownership and you get to be a part of decisions that are made. So when you have input of what's going on, then you have that ownership. Does that make sense? And so, so we want that feedback from you. So sometimes people say we want feedback, and then people start to give feedback, and then they realize they don't want feedback. We want feedback. That's how we grow, right? That's how we change. That's how we evolve. And we want to be the family that we're created to be. So this isn't a matter of we're the only ones with the ideas. You need to listen to us. We're a family, and a family contributes to each other, and everyone contributes ideas so we can continue on. So with family contribution, that's something that we do a lot in our family, especially because our house situation has changed over the last year. We got 6 acres a year ago, and again, we have a 14-year-old and a 10-year-old who don't really like chores. And so our lives have changed dramatically, and so there's been many conversations of contributing to the family, right? So if the chickens don't get fed, then they'll die probably, or something will happen to them. Whatever farm things happen that I don't know about because I live in an apartment. So if something were to happen with the chickens, or if we don't collect eggs for a week, then people probably won't want to eat those, I'm guessing. So, there are just different things that are, or if they don't take out the trash, right, then our house starts to smell. Or there are just lots of things. So our boys understand that this is not just a mom and dad situation. We're not going to take care of everything that's in the family. They have to contribute to our family because they are a part of it. It teaches them responsibility. They have a role. our boys have ownership in our family. It doesn't matter how old they are. So we are a church family, and so we get to contribute. We get to volunteer, not have chores, but we get to volunteer and we get to serve in different areas because we are a family and we get to have those roles in the ownership. So do you see kind of how those things go together? So we get to live life together. We are family. We are family. Okay, so we can choose daily to sacrifice, to be intentional with our time, money, and passions. And so with that, I found this video that I've watched over and over again, and it just gets me really excited about the things that we have going on, and kind of talks about this a little bit, what we're talking about. Yeah, thank you.
You and I might spend about 70 to 80 years on this earth. Not long when you consider the timeline of eternity. Have you ever wondered what life is all about? Every day we get bombarded with the message to pursue the things of this world. Make money, get stuff, be comfortable, live well. More, and me. That's the prevailing message of our day. Our generation has a hijacked version of the American dream. But as Christians, we know deep down this distorted view of life isn't real life. We read what the Bible teaches and we see how Jesus lived. Every day we face a choice: to pursue the me mindset of the American dream, or to pursue Christ. What if this generation was willing to trade in the pursuit of the American dream for a world that desperately needs Christ? To be traders. A trader is a new kind of missionary, not defined by geography. Where you live doesn't make you a missionary. The mission you're on makes you a missionary. Being a trader is a movement that requires us to live out our faith, not just talk about it. As a trader, we must choose daily to sacrifice and be intentional with our time, money, and skills. We can be like the Good Samaritan in the parable. When we're on the road of life and see someone in need, we choose to help. We follow Jesus' instructions to go and do likewise. A trader must hate injustice and find specific ways to bring the hope found in Jesus to desperate situations. It's easy to identify what you hate. What makes your heart break and your fists clench? A trader sees work as worship. Everything you do in life, including your job, can be an opportunity to worship the God who created you. Because God is glorified when we use our God-given passions and skills with excellence. And finally, a trader must act swiftly because the time is right now. The result of all this would be a generation of traders who are making choices with their time, money, and passions that are kingdom-focused and not self-focused, so that our short time here can have an eternal impact.
So that's exactly what we're talking about. We have a short time here. What are we going to do with our time? Sorry, I get really emotional because I just think it's such a gift to be able to serve next to each other, and it's just an opportunity that we get to teach our children to be a part of that. And we want to do right by our volunteers. We want to be a part of teaching you. We want you to be in the right place that you want to serve, not just in a place where you feel like you're being placed because there's a need. And so I feel that I know that we are going to see a change in service in Antioch, because we are going to be this operating family that we have already been. It's just going to continue to grow, and we are going to be blown away by each other, and by the gifts that each other has. It's just going to be, I don't know, I just can see what God's going to do, what He's already doing through Antioch. And so I just really thank you for being here and for being a part of that, and hopefully we can realize what we can do with our time and with our talents. So I look forward to serving with you in the future.